The receiver class, I told you that I think it's very deep, but you are right that I don't think the top-end receiver talent is really there. I think a lot of these receivers are going a little higher than they probably should. I do think there are like 10 to 12 guys that I think are really solid NFL contributors, which seems like a lot. I don't have a super great point of reference, but obviously Jamar Chase is one of the best receiver prospects in the last decade. So to say there's no Jamar Chase is a stupid thing to even say because that's just pretty obvious.
But in my opinion,
even the high-end guys.
There's no like Waddle. There's no like, Devonta Smith.
Here, let's give me your. Do you have receiver rankings?
I really don't.
Who do you? Do you have number one?
So I would. It's so tough on team situation. I think Jamison Williams is the best receiver in the class. If he didn't get hurt by a significant amount.
I think it's silly that he's dropping as far as he is. And I've seen him in the top 10, but I've also seen him in like the 20s. I've seen him in like not in the top 5 receivers, which is insane to me.
Yeah, I think he's clearly the best receiver. He was the best player on the field in that championship game, blew his knee out. I don't know when he's going to be available. But if some team like in the teens or like early 20s somehow,
if you get him in the 20s, that's an absolute steal.
The Chiefs have 2 picks. The Packers have 2 picks. I don't know if they would come up to like the teens to get him, but it would be a perfect fit.
If I were them, I would.
Both of those picks in the late. Yeah, I think that's possible. I think he's the best player, best receiver. After that,
you want my rankings?
Yeah, these Ohio State guys, for some reason, I'm just not sold.
Okay.
I like them, but
I don't love Olave. I think he's going to be good. I don't think he'll be great. I don't see a greatness factor. Garrett Wilson, I see a little bit
about like everyone.
Garrett Wilson, I see a little bit more likelihood that he's really good because one, he has like the 4.3 speed on top of his great route running, on top of great cans. Like, I think he's just a very, very, very solid wide receiver. I'm trying to think of a good comp whenever I watch his tape. Maybe like a Justin Jefferson light.
Okay.
Which is obviously high praise, but in terms of that type of player. My number 3 guy, Arkansas, Traylon Burks. I really like him a lot because I love the burner speed, and I like guys that can create with the ball in their hands, make guys miss, turn short yardage into big yardage. I think that's kind of the direction a lot of receivers are going.
I don't know. I think, yeah, I really like him too. Just eye test, he looks
modern
really
NFL. He seems like he fits perfectly.
I remember watching Drake London, just West Coast late night, watching him play. Dude passes the eye test for me.
I was telling you, I'm low on Drake London. I, too, remember when I first watched him, I was like,
a freak.
He is a freak. My thing is,
what don't you like?
In modern NFL, is there really like, because in my mind, he's like a pure jump ball receiver. He's not fast. He's not like super great in and out of routes. He's like legitimate, like, I'm trying to think of, there's not even that archetype of guy in the NFL in terms of high level. Like Mike Williams, that's like my comp for him.
Same school. From 2 years ago, Michael Pittman, it kind of reminds me.
Like Mike Williams, Michael Pittman, and like neither of those guys I see ever being like all pro level guys. Like that's just not the way the NFL is played anymore. Like if this was 2007, Drake London would be surefire.
Mike Evans?
Yeah, Mike Evans, I guess. Mike Evans is like the elite of the elite at this type of thing. But for me,
the final boss.
I really do think like smaller speed spread is more the move. So I think for modern NFL, that would just be the way that I would go.
I think you probably
like him as a top 10 pick to me is I don't think he's aggressive.
I think him is undersell the rest of his abilities. But that is
he didn't run the 40, which tells me if he was fast, he probably would have ran the 40.
Yeah, a lot of the plays in your head, the big plays he made are just down the sideline, just I'm bigger and faster and better than you, and he would jump over people.
I just don't. Yeah, if that's the best part of his game, that's not as valuable a piece in the modern NFL as the other stuff, in my opinion.
It's a fine case. I could see it going either way. He just popped when he was at the college level, dominated.
Yeah, I don't know that so
Fair
in
enough.
my eyes, I think there's guys that are like him. You know who I really like that I don't think is getting enough love is Alec Pierce from Cincinnati. I like him a lot
Interesting.
because he's literally the same size as Drake London. He ran a 4.4. He's got a 40-inch vertical. He was incredibly productive in college. Whenever I watched some clips of him and I watched some people break his film down, when he played Bama, he was running by their corners. He was blowing them off the line, and then basically the entire second half, they guarded him with two guys because he was basically the only guy on the entire team for Cincinnati they were worried about. I like Alec Pierce a lot. I think he's not getting enough love. And the guy you're pulling up on your screen, I like a lot
guy.
too. Like, if I'm going to take Drake London, I'm just going to take Christian Watson from North Dakota State because he is also 6'5", but he runs a 4.3 40 and is a goddamn Megatron baby.
Yeah,
just
I like
a
Christian
giant
Watson
freak
a lot.
show.
I like Christian Watson a lot.
Plays North Dakota State, so the comp's not there, but in terms of tools,
Calvin Johnson played at Georgia Tech.
in terms of tools, Christian Watson's got everything you need. Like, to me,
I like him a
in
lot.
my mind, I would rather have Pearson Watson than Drake London, and Drake London's projected to be like the number one receiver off the board, which to me is just wrong. Everywhere I see it's either him or Garrett Wilson first off the board. Garrett Wilson, I don't know. Like, Drake London, his ceiling is lower than Christian Watson's to me.
What do you think about Sky Moore?
Don't know much about him. Haven't watched him a ton.
Yeah, he's more of really the opposite of these guys. He's a smaller, speedier guy. 5'10", ran a 4.41. A lot of buzz late in the draft for the Chiefs to replace Tyreek Hill with him. I
feel like if you're that
Shifties.
small, I would want you to run even faster than that. But I don't know anything about how he plays.
Went to Western Michigan.
That's why I don't know who he is.
There's a decent history there. Corey Davis. They put that conferences put some players in the NFL that have played well. He's as a first round. I just don't. He seems kind of Amon-Ra St. Brown, kind of slot, super quick, good route runner to me,
Which is valuable.
But I just don't know.
You can find guys.
The
You can
upside.
find those guys.
I just don't know. For me, I'm just taking these freak athletes
Yeah.
at incredible size rather than this guy.
Drake London's a guy that I'm low on. I'd say Alec Pierce is a guy that I'm higher on than most people. The rest of the guys, Jamison Williams, he's kind of a little all over the place, but certainly best or second best receiver in this class, in my opinion. Yeah. Ooh, another guy I like that's a little further down. I like Jahan Dotson a lot. He, again, is a little smaller speed guy, but super dominant. Yeah, super dominant in college. Very, very productive.
They've had some decent history putting receivers in the NFL too.
Allen
Robinson,
fits
Chris
the mold,
Godwin.
high level speed, seems to always be open.
Okay.
Makes big plays. Alec Pierce, Jahan Dotson, high on. Guy, if you're watching home, Christian Watson, name to watch. Whenever you see me, like, who the fuck is that? Christian Watson, absolute freak show.
I like him a lot.
Could not put it together and just be a bad football player. That's always on the table. If he was just an awesome football player, he would just be a top 10 pick. But Christian Watson, name to remember.